YouTube, what the crap's going on? Yes, this is indeed the Beastmen campaign, part 3. Air, what are you doing on the battle replays? Well, I told you in the last episode, in a comment there at the end, that we were going to fight the dwarves and see whether or not we would win or lose. So this battle is for the fate of the campaign. Will I win and the campaign continues as is? Or will I lose and I need to restart because I got myself killed? So everything hinges here, and I wanted to show you the battle this way so that it could be more cinematic and hopefully more exciting. So my forces are coming on as reinforcements, so you can see Malagor and Emperor Al-Gorbul, and we have to cover quite some distance to the first Dawi army that is led by Ungrim Iron Fist. And you saw the army composition coming in. His infantry's not stellar, but he has a crap load of skirmish, including a couple of these rangers with great weapons, a bolt thrower, and the grudge thrower. Or whatever you call this thing. Hang on, why can't I remember the name? Is it grudge thrower? Goblobber, yeah. The Goblobber. And my Bray herd is starting from this side. Now, if either one of our armies gets singled out, we will lose. If both of our armies allows the dwarves to fight us at full strength, we will again lose. The second dwarf army is coming in from this direction over here and has a ton of thunderers and other units that will be very dangerous to us. So my Bray herd army takes the engagement straight up the center with Chaos Spawn and other units coming in. You can see the rangers with great weapons in an excellent position. And I am just rushing as fast as I can. Thank goodness Beastmen are fast. But every moment that my Bray herd continues this engagement with the dwarves without me is one more moment that this battle favors the dwarves, so I am in a desperate hurry to get things done. These chariots over here are one of our best units, and my Bray herd is pretty much throwing them away. So my strategy here is to get Gorbul into combat early and to use my Warhounds. Now I'm not even going to take my Warhounds after enemy skirmishers because dwarf skirmishers, especially on the very hard difficulty setting, are going to be too difficult for my Warhounds to kill. So I'm going to go artillery only with the Chaos Warhounds. So I'm going to chew up that, and now I'm going to go chew up the Bolt Thrower, and Gorbul is going to immediately get into all these skirmishers and start disrupting them, including the rangers with great weapons. Gorbul is in extreme danger from these guys, so he's got to tear him up. So the second piece of artillery goes down. You can see my my herd back here getting a whole lot closer, and Gorbul is successfully interfering with the dwarf skirmishers. You can see that we forced these guys into melee, and these ones here, we damaged them badly, and then I'm keeping these handguns busy. And now at this point, the Minotaurs are here to help Gorbul. You can see how much faster than everybody else Gorbul is. Malagor is going to come in and immediately cast Devolve on a blob over here to help out my allies by pulling down some of the dwarf infantry. And at this point, my infantry is full on ready to engage in combat. The Ulthar's raiders are about to die. And basically what's going to happen is I'm going to look to get rear engagements here and again support my ally. I've got to keep as many of my allies' units alive as possible, or else the battle will definitely spoil against us. You can see that even the dwarf skirmishers here can push away the Ungor spear herd. Well, they had help from dwarf warriors, but you can see my guys all have pretty massive attack, even not being in the presence of Gorbul. But now that all my heroes are here, I got Gorbul, Minotaurs, Malagor, and a giant. We're going to come in here and destroy Ungrim Iron Fist. I decide first to disrupt the rangers with great weapons because they can cause more damage than I like. You can see it doesn't take long to dispatch them. And then I'm going to unleash my monstrous herd here all over Ungrim. So Ungrim's going to feel on full wrath of all of my monstrous infantry. Thorgrim Grudgebearer actually has a fiery ring of Thorny or Thori or something here where he's shooting fireballs at us. But you can see we were able to rout the dwarf left flank, and the right flank is almost collapsed as well. I'm just getting a couple of mop-up actions out here, and Ungrim is beaten to death. So Ungrim's now out of the battle. Yeah, I'm sorry, for whatever reason this replay like kind of has like momentary frame lags every now and then, but it's not too much. Anyway, you can see that we've wrapped up the Ungrim's army. The unfortunate thing is that my Bray herd took massive losses in the process, which means that I have to turn and fight Thorgrim's army pretty much straight on. You can see there the Bray herd leader just took a fireball from Thorgrim and died. And fortunately there are still a few troops alive from my Bray herd, like these Razor Gore herd, and there's a little bit of distraction, and you can see that the rest of the troops alive from my Bray herd are just going to attack head on, but I don't like the position that I'm in here. My army is a little bit scattered and not completely gathered, so I'm going to fall back, and I'm going to keep my Ungor raiders hidden in the woods, and I'm going to fall back with them as well. I'm not going to let the dwarf skirmishers skirmish with my Ungor raiders because dwarf skirmishers are far superior, and so I'm not going to take that engagement. I want only the best engagements for my troops if I'm going to win. You can see the balance bar now is about 50-50. So this battle could go in my favor, or it may go against me. We have a significant dwarf threat left. They have hammerers, they have dwarf warriors, they have great rangers with great weapons, they've got thunderers, a lot of thunderers. I can see, what, there's 3. They've got at least, yeah, well, okay, so my warhound successfully took out, sorry, I forgot to show it, there was a bolt thrower and another grudge thrower in the back. They successfully killed it. And then I mopped up this group of rangers with great weapons, and I'm keeping my warhounds well out of range of the rest of these dwarf skirmishers. So quick hit and run mission. So what I'm doing is trying to pick apart dwarf skirmishers, because I will lose the fight because of them. And at this point you can see that the Dawi are pushing, and they're kind of pushing towards my skirmishers, so I'm going to go ahead and charge my infantry line. Everything's regrouped, and I've got all my big monstrous units here, and I'm going to try and punch straight through the line. Thorgrim doesn't get the mercy of being knocked around by my big units, so I'm going to try and get him singled out, and he should die relatively quick if I can do so, but he's got a lot of infantry support. So here comes the final battle, folks. This is it, as Beast clash with Dawi. So all my guys are going to come up. I actually get charged here. I should have gotten a charge bonus, so that was a big mistake. But I was focused over here. You can see my Minotaurs smashing their way through all the Dawi infantry and making their way to Thorgrim, and Gorbul is leading this effort. So Thorgrim is going to take the brunt of a giant pack of Minotaurs here, and my giant just pushing his way through, Devolve being dropped. I'm doing everything I can. Now, I'm not overcasting Devolve. I'd like to, but I can't risk Malagor taking more damage from an overcast. So right now I'm just leaving it on a single cast. So Thorgrim is now being hit by the giant and Gorbul and Minotaurs, and you can see we cause massive damage to the dwarf infantry here, except for the hammers. Out on this flank, I'm using infantry to tie down their skirmishers, and it is a desperate fight right now. It's leaning slightly in my favor, finally, but it is desperate. My warhounds tie down a quarreler, and then I get my Ungor raiders at point-blank range, and I intend to fire into the back of some of the dwarf infantry, while my warhounds just keep these guys tied down, and I'm moving a Gore herd in to support. But my warhounds have been absolutely clutch in this battle. And on this flank, my infantry continues to keep these skirmishers from firing into this blob fight, which is allowing me to beat all the dwarf infantry. At this point, Thorgrim starts to rout. Another Devolve comes in, and Thorgrim is going to get taken down. And if Thorgrim goes down, it's likely that I can collapse his army. So you can see Thorgrim is not fast enough to flee from a pack of Minotaurs. And seeing some skirmishers back here who could cause damage, I pull the Minotaurs loose. You can see I'm dropping some Vile Tides, and at that point, with Thorgrim out of the fight, the rest of the Dawi fall, and Impor Al Gorbul manages to kill Ungrim Iron Fist and Thorgrim, all in one desperate, desperate battle, and the dwarves are massively defeated. Against all odds, the Beastmen were able to pull it out. So how was I victorious here? A head-on fight. Like, if those two dwarf armies would have been combined, we would have gotten massacred. Pretty much no matter what tactics I used, we would have been massacred, just due to the amount of armor and firepower that those dwarves had. So the way I was successful here was definitely having to use the speed of my herd. I had to get them across the map with haste and get as much support to my Bray herd as I could. And it wasn't a lot, but it was just enough to keep my army alive enough in order to have a chance to defeat the second Dawi army. So that was really the only way this worked. I've got Gorbul trying to chase down some dwarves. Basically, I went and chased down all the dwarves I could. Wanted to kill as many of them as we can, so we'll get some action here on the Dawi fleeing before my Gores, being slaughtered in the process. So yeah, it was close, folks, and this was very nearly the end of my campaign. But hey, what an epic way to have a campaign get started, right? In the first few episodes here, you come up upon this like epic challenge. Now we're gonna have to be careful. The dwarves are going to replenish quickly, So we're going to need to put together an awesome Warherd and do it quickly. Part of me kind of is thinking about just maybe falling away from the dwarves for a little while. But then again, there's potentially a lot of riches to be made from attacking them. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the end so you can see the kills and be able to talk through the units that were the most clutch. But yeah, at this point, I'm just running down, routing Dawa units and killing as many of them as I can. At least that was the goal. I got my Warhounds swinging across here to get a couple of extra kills. But yeah, what a battle. What a battle. So again, keep the heroes together, smash the Dawi leadership. Even with their leadership dead, the Dawi can be hard to break, but with Thorgrim around and the kind of buffs that he adds into combat, he has to be taken out. And so that's why he was a focus for me there. Now, Gorbul didn't get a ton of kills, but he killed Ungrim and Thorgrim in that battle, so very important kills racked up for him. The Giant helped deal a lot of damage to him. These Minotaurs got a lot of kills, which is great, but look at this. The Chaos Warhounds with poison were actually the key to this strategy, and it was because in Ungrim's army, they had to bring down the Goblobber and a Bolt Thrower, and then in Thorgrim's army, they brought down, look at this, 0 kills on the artillery from Thorgrim's army, and you better believe that that artillery could have made the difference in this battle. So yeah, taking out the artillery. So I'm going to give the Chaos Warhounds with poison the MVP award from this one. And now that I've showed you the battle, we can go load up the campaign. So I'm going to load it up. Beastmen Grand right here. So I'll be right back and we'll get things going. Alright, so this is what the campaign map looked like after I won that battle. We have the option of running down this stack here, and then Thorgrim's stack, I think, ran over here. We could certainly chase both of them down, but I'm not sure if it's worth my effort to chase them down. Part of me just wants to get away from their territory. But the problem is like, so over here in dwarf territory, we're going to be in grave danger, and there could be more dwarf stacks around. I don't have a whole lot of scouting right now that's going to tell me that. If I go back this way, Tylea may be hunting. You can see that the ultimate trolls that Tylea are, they joined the war to help the border princes, and then they just came over after I wrecked their settlements, and they're like, well, you know, if no one's using these settlements, we'll just put them to use. I could go through the pass and try and make my way away from the main Dawi forces, but again, the dwarves own this territory up here, and we very well could get attacked by vampires and stuff too. At the moment, part of me thinks that I'm just going to go into a hidden encampment here, and we have definitely got to get some better infantry. It's going to take 3 turns to recruit Bestigor. We definitely need Bestigor. Minotaurs and Bestigor are going to be my best option for breaking the dwarfs. And you know, honestly, Centaurs with throwing axes, if they can get behind a line, will be quite effective. But we'd need some regular Centaurs for taking out dwarf skirmishers. But we definitely need some Bestigor herd in order to get most of the damage done. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to merge some of my units so that they can be easier to control in combat. So we kept our Warhounds, which I think are going to be an important unit for us, and we've merged some of these others. And I only have 3 recruitment slots. So I think that just for the sake of getting some troops on, well, the question is whether I go straight for Bestigor herd or if I get some Gore herd to kind of fill the in-between here. Bestigor herd would be much, much better. There's no doubt about it. But it takes 3 turns to recruit them. Let's, I wish I could get chariots as well. Chariots would be really, really clutch. And we can get to the chariots pretty quick. Let's work on getting to the chariots, and we're gonna need Totem of Horns. No, okay, so we get at level 4, we just need the scavenged lumber pile, and we can get the Razor Gore chariots. We're going to have to spend up quite a bit of our funds here on recruitment. Let's go ahead and start recruiting some Bestigor herd just so that we have a center of our army that's that can actually hold against some Dawi infantry. The dwarves are going to retreat and try and retrain. And okay, right up here, the vampires have given us a huge benefit. Schwarzhofen has attacked, or von Karstein has attacked Karak Dromar, and that's going to help us that there's extra pressure on the dwarves. The Brayherd disbanded, which is not good for us. That Brayherd was definitely helpful. But we're replenishing rather quickly. In a couple of turns, we'll have these extra infantry. And then how much population surplus do I need to be able to get up to Razorgore chariots? I'm going to need just one. And we'll get that in one turn here. So we have huge horde growth right now. So this is pretty good for us. Okay, no Dawi armies in sight yet. We might make it out of this alive. If we can get the chariots and the Bestigor herd, we'll have a chance. So the chariots will now be coming. We are one turn away from the 3 Bestigor herd. Gorbul has leveled up. We can give him missile resistance, gouge tusk, armor piercing damage, which could be really helpful against dwarf leadership. He already does a lot of armor piercing damage at 280. It gives him an additional 15. Let's give him the Shadow Hide, because the dwarves have a lot of skirmishers. And then we'll work through some of the other stuff. Oh, please give me these Bestigor. And if I can get some chariots, I'll be feeling pretty good about life. Because chariots can massively disrupt dwarf skirmisher lines. The border princes are like, hey, look, we don't want to fight. We're just trying to escape here. And as Malagor the Dark Omen, part of me doesn't want to let them escape, but we'll let them escape for now. Let's just focus on our army. We're definitely going to need some Razorgore chariots. They take 2 turns. I'd like to have a couple of these guys, though, to support the Warhounds. And let's get one more Bestigor herd underway. And we're starting to get the beginnings of a decent stack here. We'll get rid of some of these cheaper units in favor of some of the better units. But I want to get some pressure on the dwarves as quick as we can also. The sooner we can start tearing down some of those settlements, we can potentially keep them from rebuilding their strength. But they may have already done so because I believe the AI can replenish. They get like buffed replenishment on the campaign map. I'm not 100% certain of that, but I think they do. And of course they get economic buffs, so they can probably recover from what I did to them easier than I could. And it was a pretty Pyrrhic victory, the victory that we gained. Alright, we've got our Razorgore chariots. We have one more Bestigor herd that's almost finished. The rest of our infantry is somewhat weak, but we're in far better shape. I'm thinking let's ditch the Ungor herd here. And this guy here. And let's replace them with the Gore herds. That way I'll have better infantry for the most part. And Malagor needs to earn some money. Because we're burning through our cash. And we're now costing ourselves a lot more upkeep. But we have a pretty decent stack, and we can recruit one more Bestigor herd, or one more Gore herd as time allows. And we need to get rid of this Ungor spear. He's not going to be super useful, and we probably want to trade it for a Centigore. So we'll do something to that order, but we need to get some money. So let's do a safety save right here. I'm going to do a quick save and then move forward. Yeah, I don't see any big dwarf resistance. And we're just going to loot and raise. I don't need the growth right now. I need the money. And we'll just kind of loot our way through the Blood River Valley if we're able to do so. So Malagor levels up once again. We've got Lightning Strike, which is pretty important. Having some extra horde recruitment capacity would not be a bad thing. But part of me wants to just get this Call of Violence and then start this right here where my Gore Herd and Bestigor units start getting buffed massively. I feel like that would be more important, because if we can get our Bestigor herd and our Gore herd all doped up on roids and then supported by Gorbel, it's going to be pretty absurd. I don't have the money right now to focus over here, so even though my research has been slowed down, let's go through here, the casualty replenishment rate research. Okay. And then we'll just go down and hit Barag. Oh, wow, there's a full dwarf stack. We could try an ambush. No matter how far. Endless. So horde growth goes up. Campaign movement range. Dang it, they don't have the one that gives me extra attack. That's the one I really want right now. I don't need horde growth at the moment, so let's do when one falls and let my troops replenish. And then I'm going to move forward in an ambush stance. There's only a 45% chance of ambush success over here. Light Forest gives us a 70% chance down here. Let's do that. And let's just, I can't see any other dwarf stacks, but if there are other dwarf stacks in range, we'd be in trouble. Fortunately for us, this is pretty skirmisher heavy, which mean, well, but I mean that's a nasty bit of business right here in the middle. The Longbeards with great weapons. This is a serious threat. It is not an insignificant threat. So let's see what we can do here. Our stack still needs to be improved upon some before we can really feel confident against that type of dwarf nonsense. And we need to support ourselves as well, so I'm going to go into the underground and move over here. I don't think the Dawe can reach me, and let's see if we can wreck Barak Var and force these guys into chasing. If we have to, we could move away and go hit Tylea or a softer target and stay away from the dwarves until we feel more prepared, but I want to do what damage to them I can do at the moment. I still only see one dwarf stack, though that one stack, it does concern me. But the only way that, I mean, we could get out of here, we could just straight escape, but I don't feel like doing that. I want to wreck Barak Var. So let's wreck Barak Var. I'm going to auto-resolve this. I don't really think it's worth a whole lot of time. We're going to loot and raise. That'll give us sustenance for quite a few more turns. If the dwarves do come out to attack me, which I'm not sure they really can, I should be able to flee away and basically have a hit and run. And then I want to come over here and raid the Tyleans and push the Tyleans back. We also need to do some work in Empire lands. Actually, I may just go do some raiding in Empire lands just for fun. And we haven't extincted the Border Princes. We could go through the Blackfire Pass. So we'll figure it out. I think we'll leave the dwarves alone for now. I'm a little bit worried that they're going to come out here and overwhelm me. Let's finish this. Freakish Mutations would also be very useful because it buffs my Minotaurs. And then this cavalry one over here is going to be useful for my Centaurs at some point too. So let's finish all these because all that makes a huge difference. It makes a real big difference. Like that 47 melee attack on the Bestigor herd. So, and it'll be even better when they're around Gorbel. Alright, let's see what happens. Yeah, the dwarves can't attack me. They're just trying to defend their settlements at this point. Sweet, we finished a mission and got some money. Let's do this one here, which gives us Bestial Rage for 5 turns. That'll help boost up our rage meter. And I'm going to move up and head through Blackfire Pass. Got Al Gorbel leveled up. We're going to do this Gouge Tusk. And then we'll start working through some of his personal chain there. And I'll try and get into a hidden encampment so we can replenish, and then also so we can recruit. Oh, yeah, that's not good. So we got Karak Hearn after us now, too. Everybody's going to want to be at war with us. Dwarves have that big stack there. I don't know how much more power they have, though. It could be risky to stick around and try and really... because they could have rebuilt several armies by this point. This is kind of risky, too, to bring myself out into this area where I might come up against many, many enemies at once. But we'll take the risk for now. We're up in the pass. I'm going to ditch this spear dude who's not a whole lot of use to us. And I'm kind of thinking I'm going to ditch one of these archers as well, because these guys aren't massively helpful to me against... I mean, I think I would be better suited with just another cavalry or an infantry, so I'm going to ditch that guy. And let's think carefully about what we want here. Bestigor make up a nice center, and the Gore are a little bit faster and can vanguard deploy. They make up a nice flank unit, in my opinion. I've got 2 chariots. I probably don't want to go full overkill there. Some Centaurs to support my poison warhounds would probably be a good pick. I think one more Gore to run our flanks would be a solid pick. And I'm almost kind of just thinking, if anything, just bring in more Minotaurs. Because they're going to be worth a whole lot to us. Let's do that. Alright, that ought to make my army considerably stronger. Minotaurs combined with Bestigor herd in the center of an army ought to cause massive damage, and then the giant can combine with Gorbull to bring down most lords or heroes, while the chariots, the warhounds, and the Centaurs can disrupt skirmishers. So that'll be the goal of our build. We have a lot of armor-piercing damage now, which would serve us well against the dwarves, or anybody else who starts fielding armored infantry. I do want to do that upgrade, but let's wait just a bit longer. Let's finish recruiting our troops. And let's earn a little money before we really try and spend all that money. Just in case I end up in a situation where I have to flee. I don't run out of money in a couple of turns. Oh, and I think I'm moving 50% of the range. Yeah, we only need 25, my bad. I forget that with the chaos type factions. Let's move up slowly so we get a little bit of scouting. Okay. We could actually attack Grinzat and probably win. Yeah, certainly win. Let's let that be the final battle for the episode. It's giving us poor chances, but we actually have really solid chances here. There's no way these guys can handle my infantry. And we got to remember that lightning strike too. The lightning strike could do us one. Oh, we've played this map before. This is that special map. This is going to be interesting. If they deploy their crossbows up there, that could be a bit of a problem. But we can vanguard deploy Gores all the way over here. So I am going to do that. Put them hidden like that. We can vanguard deploy the Centaurs and the Warhounds. Vanguard deploy the missiles. I kind of want the chariots to come from the flanks because I don't think they're going to do any good going straight down the center. I'm just going to put these guys in groups on the flank to make it a little easier to pick them. Okay. Alright. Let's take care of business. First things first, let's do a little bit of scouting with our Ungor Raiders. They do have some missile units up on the top tier. Let's move forward. Start rolling chariots to the flanks. Chariots are going to be somewhat difficult to use on this map. Alright. Once we kind of see where the enemy's at, we'll devise a plan of attack, but we got to get some good scouting. Some harpies would have been extremely useful here for scouting. Alright, still no info yet. We're going to keep... Let's do just a bit of scouting with these warhounds, and we may have to get ready to run away. Let's get the gores up here. Okay. Okay, yeah, some crossbows. Let's back up. There we go. I'm just gonna move all my guys through the center here. Let's go ahead and push up. Okay, our gores. Alright, so we are pushing in. So we got guys going through the main gate. I've got the flanks covered. We're starting to get our first troops up onto the second tier. Let's go try and pin down the crossbows. Split up and come around this building both ways. The crossbows are likely to have infantry nearby, so we'll just be a bit careful. Start heading down over there. Let's get these guys in here. I think we're going to end up catching the enemy, yeah, all back here. Come on, just get through here. Just go, go, go. I'm just going to blob group right here. And let's take out those halberds. Let's help take out the halberds right here. Should be relatively quick. Into the spears, into the spears. Let's keep these guys back at a distance. Let's move these guys up. Malagor, we're going to need some assistance here. We're going to put an overcast evolve right here. Buff all our allies. That should put some massive damage down on the defenders. And our gores should be able to bust through the flanking infantry. Let's get this cavalry up here. Our chariot should be able to break. Well, there's a lot of halberds around, but we'll do our best. Our minotaurs are taking a beating. We got to get through this blob. Come on, get through the blob. Get through the blob. Get to the archers. Okay, we're clear to the archers back here. Okay, chariots, away. Alright, we got the archers on the run. Minotaurs can turn around and attack. Malagor is taking a beating up in here. Let's back him up a little. Enemy lord's about to drop. Where's Gorbull? Okay, he's safe. Okay, archers are on the run. Where'd my two chariots get to? Okay, I got a chariot into the back of the enemy infantry over here. Centaurs have all that handled. Chariots over here. Did lose a unit of minotaurs, which I'm not happy about. Malagor still very much alive. Vile Tide should get us a chain route. Yeah, it should kill their leadership, what's left. Vestigor did a good job. The Minotaurs took a beating mostly from a lot of the missile infantry around, I think. And we got a chain route fully underway here. Man, these guys sure have some strong leadership. Okay, we're gonna wreck that guy. Let's get over here and break the leadership of these last couple of units. Alright, so it took a lot more damage there at Grinstead than I would have liked. But the auto-resolve obviously would have made us lose. And most of the damage was on our Minotaurs that I wasn't happy with. But they did a good job. I mean, they had to go straight into a crap load of spears and archer fire, so all things considered, they did well. I probably should have just moved them to the flanks and done an infantry assault straight through the center. Malagor's devolve there was pretty clutch in clearing that blob out much faster than it would have cleared out otherwise, because there was 2 Empire captains and a lord supporting all that infantry. So Grinsat falls. We'll take the loot. Keep building up our coffers. There's a little bit of research left that I want to do. We better hope that Karakern doesn't have someone ready to attack us, but otherwise, I'm ready to go ahead and save this one. Hope you all enjoyed the episode. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you next time.